Either Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is completely immune to hypocrisy, or he thinks that his Republican supporters are the dumbest people on the planet. Late last week, an interview with Mitch McConnell emerged where Mitch McConnell lamented the fact that President Joe Biden is, allegedly, politicizing the U.S. Supreme Court. And he said that this commission that Biden has put in place to look at the possibility of expanding the U.S. Supreme Court, he said that it, quote, fits squarely within liberals' years-long campaign to politicize the court. Liberals' years-long campaign to politicize the U.S. Supreme Court. From Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's the man who said that. Mitch McConnell, the same guy who held up Merrick Garland's nomination for almost an entire year because, as he said, you can't appoint a Supreme Court justice in an election year. You got to let the people decide. The same man who then 4 years later rammed through Amy Coney Barrett after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died just a month before an election. The guy who helped Donald Trump get hundreds of judges appointed to benches all over this country to the point where more than 25% of U.S. district court judges are now Donald Trump appointees. He suddenly thinks that liberals have been on a crusade to politicize the court. Mitch McConnell, the same guy who went nuclear on the Supreme Court filibuster to where you only had to have a simple majority vote. You didn't have to have the 60 vote threshold anymore. Mitch McConnell literally changed the rules, literally changed his talking points in just a span of a couple years so that he could pack the courts. But now when Democrats are finally saying, all right, screw it, gloves are off, we're going to do the same thing, Mitch McConnell goes and cries and said, well, it's really sad that they're politicizing the court. I think Joe Biden should expand that U.S. Supreme Court as big as he can, as big as he wants. I want so many damn Supreme Court justices that they can't even fit in the building anymore. And you got to start having court outside with judges just up and down the steps leading into the Supreme Court, listening to oral arguments. That's what I want. You know why? Because the U.S. Supreme Court has already been a joke for decades now. It is a political arm of whichever party is in power. And yes, they issue decisions that have very real-world consequences, that change the very fabric of this country all the time. And that's why it's so bothersome that the court has become so politicized. It's a campaign talking point. Do you want this SOB to pick your judges, or do you want this one to pick your judges? They're going to pack it with liberal hacks who are going to make abortion mandatory. They're going to pack it with people who are going to make abortion never allowed again. It's all a political joke. And these politicians, they don't care one way or the other how that court actually swings, folks. Believe me, behind the scenes, they don't give a damn. They use it as a talking point to sway you to vote one way or the other. And that's it. That's what the U.S. Supreme Court is. So you know what? Expand it. Put 1,000 judges on that court for all I care. Knock it down to one judge if you want. Because the whole thing is a joke anyway. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.